You know what sucks? So I'm in my late 30s, right? And I spent my whole teenage years trying to grow up. And then I spent my 20s in bad relationships and having children.
What the hell is even that?
And it's cool because now I finally figured out who the I am. But I'm in the body of a 40-year-old. And I feel like a fucking 15-year-old. Like, look at how I'm dressed right now. I have fucking boy shorts on, fucking a hoodie with a beanie. Like I don't give a. I wear fucking chain, bracelets, and Converse, and like I'm a teenage boy, man. So when you guys like figure out how to switch bodies, just let me know. Okay, thanks. Bye.
You know, guys, the epiphany phase is a funny thing. As these girls go into, their 30s and their 40s, they always try and sell you this sob story, okay, of how her relationships have been so bad, but now she's done her healing and she loves herself and now she's ready for a real man to step up. Guys, what these girls are doing is they are taking their necessity and trying to turn it into a virtue. And the thing is, a lot of men are seeing this and a lot of men have caught on to the game and they're saying, you know what, I'm not interested. A lot of these women, much to their dismay, have become recreational use only. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor The Fiend back again with another response video, and on today's show, guys, we are going to be kicking it off by breaking down a clip from this woman right here, guys. But as always, guys, before we jump into it, make sure you come and join us over on Locals. The link is in the video description. It's totally free to join, guys, for archived content. We're slowly moving stuff off of YouTube and posting it over there. So if you're wondering where some videos have gone, they're slowly getting moved over there. And there's also for supporters. So guys, make sure you check out that link in the description. But all that shilling aside, let's jump in. Remember to leave your thoughts and your comments, and let's take a listen to what this woman has to say.
You know what sucks? So I'm in my late 30s, right? And I spent my whole teenage years trying to grow up. And then I spent my 20s in bad relationships and having children.
Let's break that down for a second, okay? For some guys, I swear to you, so many of these girls will always just have a sob story for you, okay? They'll say like, oh, my relationships were poor, they were toxic, they were the A word, all of these guys, they used to treat me so poorly, but now here you come along and you're so different and I love you. Like, literally, guys, this is the narrative that you as a man will be so frequently sold, okay? All of the ex-boyfriends are bad, but you're a good one, and she's done her healing and she knows better. Guys, I want you to understand this, okay? All of those quote-unquote terrible relationships, first of all, she entered into them multiple times willingly and often went back to them. Second of all, there are, girls will throw out that word all the time anyway, and there's probably a few good guys in there as well who treated her well and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter, okay? Who do you think, when girls say that all of her exes are toxic and awful, and she wants, you're her boyfriend, who do you think is going to be the next toxic and awful person that she talks about? That's right, guys. It's going to be you. Let's continue.
It's cool because now I finally figured out who the I am. But I'm in the body of a 40-year-old. And I feel like a 15-year-old.
Well, let's talk about this for a second, okay? So she's finally figured out who she is. Right, guys, let's cut all the crap, guys, okay? Girls will say stuff like this. They'll say that they've healed. They'll say that they've, like, they'll insert spiritual term, okay? They love themselves now. That's another really common one now, okay? These girls do not love themselves. They don't. They're just using these words to say, oh, now I'm ready for a real man, okay? Now I'm ready for a man to... This woman, by the way, if you didn't catch it in the beginning of the clip, I believe she has children to a dude who's no longer in the picture. And like they try and sell you the idea that they love themselves and that they know who they are now. Guys, like this looks to me like I could be wrong here, but she's got makeup on, she's got a wig. I think this is a wig anyway. It looks like it could, there's a very solid chance it's a wig to me, but like girls will try and say this to dudes like, oh, I love myself, I care about myself, but oftentimes the people who say that are really just some of the most, and I hate to use this word because I think a lot of girls overuse this to the point where it's become useless, but a lot of these girls are insecure, guys. They really are. As much as they try and paint men as being insecure because men say, you know, if you're going to be my girlfriend, don't post crap on the internet of yourself, like, you know, don't embarrass me. Girls will say, oh, that's controlling. Okay. But, you know, you're just insecure. But when it comes to them wearing 30 pounds of makeup and 3 filters, it's like nobody bats an eye, right?
Like, look at how I'm dressed right now. I have fucking boy shorts on, fucking a hoodie with a beanie. Like I don't give a I wear fucking chain, bracelets, and Converse.
I think my editor put that in. I think he got sick of bleeping her swear words and he puts ninth F-bomb in there. I don't know if that was him or not.
Converse, and like, I'm a teenage boy, man. So when you guys like figure out how to switch bodies, just let me know.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's too late for you. It's too late. Guys, like girls they'll have, this is why it's called, you know, an epiphany, right? It just comes to, you know, it's disgusting, guys. And here's the thing, okay? When she comes to this magical conclusion at the end of it and she tries to go back and get a guy to, you know, come along and be her stable boyfriend, there are actually more and more men who, you know, who perhaps were overlooked while the girls were in their 20s and now they have some money or some status or whatever. And they're looking at these girls and saying, hell no. Like, I'm into just something. Even the guys, like, this is crazy. I've noticed, like, you know, a lot of guys who don't necessarily have a lot of options, they're not interested in relationships either. Right? Because why would you as a guy, let's just say like you're someone who's been overlooked and you know, your dating life hasn't been the best, and these girls, they try and come around to you when they're like 30 years of age and they've got kids. It's like, no thank you. No, you don't get to say, you know, step up just because I'm a man. That's not how this works, okay? Expecting these like, they expect all of these things of men, but they provide nothing except baggage. And guys, like, this woman has kids. A lot of these girls have student debt, okay? A lot of them are just straight up psycho. Like, you know, and they expect men to come along and just deal with all of this crap. It's absolutely insane. But guys, let's continue on to the next clip. As we go through these as well, guys, remember to leave your comments. It's always interesting to see what you guys have to say, because quite honestly, I've said this many times, but I miss a lot of things all the damn time. So if you guys have comments or experiences to share, feel free to do so. That is what the comments box is for. Let's take a listen.
Any of the rest of you out here trying to date? Because it's like fucking Jumanji. I don't even know what's going on. You roll the dice, you don't know what you're gonna get. Is it gonna be a disaster? Probably.
Yep. And you know who you have to thank for that? You have, I mean, there's a lot of people contribute in different ways, but women and simps are kind of the two main culprits here, really. They just absolutely. And, you know, guys, we got it never ceases to amaze me how girls struggle with dating. Okay, it really doesn't. They have plenty of options, but what they do is they feel like they're entitled to better ones, right? All of these guys are average. I deserve something more. Notice how every girl that that we cover, guys, is just like, they feel like they're deserving of a above average guy when they themselves are nowhere near above average, right? Like they expect a guy that's, you know, ridiculous in at least one metric, okay? But what exactly do they do? They're a lot of them, guys, I'm just going to straight up say it, a lot of them are straight up headaches. Like, a lot of guys have realized, you know what, I'm just going to play Elden Ring instead, dude, or I'm going to do something else because this just gives me a headache. And a lot of guys, they can get the benefits of a relationship without even being in the relationship. Like, really, like, why? What incentive is there for men to commit to you and to participate in dating? Like, and I mean dating in like the traditional sense of like where a dude takes you out to dinner, he tries to like wine and dine you or woo you or whatever the phrase you want to use is. Like, guys have no incentive to actually date you anymore. There's just absolutely none.
So I feel like a lot of us post in our Instagram stories, so a certain person will watch it, but it's
Told you guys. It's told you so, boys, right? It's always funny when I say this crap and there's like some dude in the comments like, don't listen to him, you know, he's just like he's just an animated vampire guy, okay? It's another thing where you just hear this crap repeatedly from women. I'm going to play that back so you guys can really hear that, okay?
So I feel like a lot of us post in our Instagram stories, so a certain person will watch it. But it's a really great feeling when you stop posting for that toxic person and you start looking for this name of a new person that you're like excited about that has potential.
Yeah, that next dopamine hit. That's what it is, guys. Like, it's really unfortunate, but a lot of these women, they don't actually view relationships as relationships. It's just like, you know, can she get the validation? Can she get the dopamine before moving on to the next one? Right? And that's really what it is. And this is why a lot of women will go back to cheaters and crap like that, truthfully, right? Because they have to return because their ego hasn't been satisfied yet. Right? Like, this is why as well, girls will be, you know, stuck to dudes who don't apologize and who treat them like crap because they never receive that closure. They never receive that validation so they never get the dopamine from the guy, right? They can't move on easily to the next guy without receiving validation from that guy that she was interested in. You see what I mean? It's really quite disgusting.
Dating at 50. You know, I'm dating because I'm looking for a partner. I'm looking for someone who wants to share my life with me.
I'm not going to even say anything, man. I'm just...
And sharing a life includes adventures, fun times, intimacy, as well as, you know, the harder times. Taking care of people that we love, building a home, bills, you know, other things. And I don't want to spend a lot of time and investment on someone who's not looking for a partner. So how do we avoid that?
I'm disgusted, guys. Like, I'm just gonna straight up say it. Like, it's disgusting to me how, like, people expect to, because make no mistake, and the reason why I say this is because you've got to understand that in order for a girl to get to this age and to not have a partner, now I'm not talking about the girls who lose their husbands or anything like that, guys. Obviously that's incredibly sad, okay, but that is a very small minority. The rest of these girls, who wind up at this age, the amount of men that you have to reject to get to this age and still be single is astronomical. And this is like even true of girls who, you know, for example, don't look that great, or single mothers, even. Like, all of these metrics that knock down these girls, okay, you know, a few points, I guess you call it, right? You still have to reject an astronomical amount of men to get to like 30 plus years of age and be single. Right, and that is a huge red flag, because that says a lot about yourself. It says a lot about, one, you have unrealistic standards for people. It also says that you're probably very unpleasant to deal with. It also says that you probably think that you're superior to a lot of people. Like, it says like a whole list of things about you guys that these, like, it's not just like you're 50 plus and you're single and you're looking for a relationship. It's like the amount of people that you have to reject and typically by extension treat like crap in order to get to that point is incredibly insane.
Hello. I've actually gotten this comment quite often. Thank you.
Let me tell you, I actually have no problem getting asked out on a first date. Dare I say, excel in getting asked out on a first date.
Yeah, what do you want, a medal? Like, you see, that's not an achievement. Your achievement is keeping a man for a long period of time. I don't care, guys. You guys let me know what you think in the comments, okay? But when girls say that, like, oh, plenty of dudes ask them out, I don't, in no way to me is that something that's impressive. You can be a girl and all you have to do in order to get, you know, asked out by dudes is you wake up, you take a bath, you know, and you don't eat an excessive amount of McDonald's, and dudes are going to ask you out. Like, it's really not rocket science, and that's without social media. Like, that is not even including social media. So when girls say, oh, you know, a whole bunch of dudes ask me out, like, what do you want? A congratulations? Like, where's your ring? Like, that's the thing that's more impressive. You come back and talk to me when you have a 25-year marriage. That's impressive. Okay, well, at least to me, guys. I don't know, some of you guys might not consider it impressive, but comparatively, it's not even close. You think that dudes asking you out makes you makes it look like you've actually done something? You don't have to do anything for that. Try making the sacrifices necessary to keep a 25-year marriage going, right? Then come and talk to me about trying to make yourself appear valuable on the internet. It's gross.
My downfall, however, is getting asked out after the first date. Thank you. So Hello? So my experience in the dating world, I think, is a little bit different from other people's, okay?
Because obviously you're just different and special, right? Every time, guys, like, they think that it's like unique and that they're doing something different or their situation is different. When the unfortunate truth of the matter, guys, is you can literally just map this stuff out. You can literally just draw a timeline. Like, that's why it's called the Epiphany phase, right? Because it's a phase. Like, this is not crap that's unpredictable. Okay, it's really not. It's all plan outable. Nobody's like, I'm not special, guys. People always like want to think that they're like some special, unique snowflake where things just work differently for them.
My looks get me far enough to get asked out on a first date, okay? But then my personality interferes, and then I don't get asked out on a second date, which is, I love that so much for me. And you might be wondering, wow, what's wrong with you? But I think what we should be asking ourselves here is, what isn't wrong with me? And it's actually funny because when I was younger, I thought I was single and wasn't getting asked out because of my looks and not my personality, but turns out people just hate me. It's really humbling when people hate you for you. Thank you for your comment.
What on earth did I just witness? What on earth? Hey, at least she's like got some honesty there. Like, that's a funny thing. A lot of girls will actually have the reverse mentality there. Well, they'll say like, oh, I get asked out, but dudes don't want to commit, therefore they aren't real men. And that's the conclusion that they draw, right? But that woman actually drew the conclusion that it's her personality, which props to her. Like, I don't know if the whole thing was satirical or not, okay? But props to her, because a lot of girls won't even come to that conclusion at all. They'll usually just blame it on men.
Huge news. I stopped myself from sending a meme to a man who would not blink if I fell on the train tracks. More at 11.
Hi. So I've decided that even though I'm married, I don't want to let my toxic dark arts go to waste. So I'm just here to impart some gifts to my girlies who are still out in these streets. So, your boyfriend's broken up with you. First of all, what is he thinking? So what you're going to do, as you're packing up all his stuff and putting it in a box to the left, you're going to go to a charity shop, Goodwill, whatever, and you're going to buy a hoodie. One size bigger than he usually wears. Extra points, spray it with some aftershave or cologne of a different scent than he wears.
You know what's sad, guys? Like, you know what the most sad part about this is, okay? Like, I already knew that this was a strategy because I've heard this from another woman before. It is bad enough that we are hearing this advice from a married woman. So basically what she's doing, okay, I've kind of paused the video here, but basically what she's encouraging women to do is to put the fear that there was another man in the midst of their relationship with their girlfriend at the time, okay? That's what she's trying to do. It's basically just manipulation and trying to make the guy feel as though, there was another dude in the picture in their relationship, okay? This woman, not only is she giving this advice, okay, she's apparently married, right? But the thing that makes this even scarier, guys, is the fact that I knew that this advice existed before this video, right? How absolutely disgusting is that?
And then you're going to take that hoodie and you're going to put it in the box with the rest of his stuff, and you're just going to hand it back to him and say absolutely nothing. Then when he texts you and asks you about whose hoodie this is, you're going to say nothing. You're going to avoid the question every time. Sorry, I was very, very toxic. You are all very lucky I'm married now.
Yeah, somehow, I don't think, especially to the individual who's married to you, I don't think that man's particularly lucky. And I'm not even saying that to roast this woman, guys. Like, I just think that that's an incredibly reprehensible thing to do. Notice how, by the way, when she first gives the advice, she specifically says that, why would the boyfriend break up with you, right? So obviously it's just the man's fault, and we're just directing this crap at men because obviously the man has to be at fault, right? Like, this is literally just female chauvinism. That's all that it is. It's like women can never be wrong. And the dudes are always in the wrong, so we're going to try and manipulate them. Hell, even though the relationship is over, we're still going to try and get that one last emotional jab in, guys. And girls will, I tell you what, a lot of people will do this where they'll try and get that like one final jab in the relationship at you guys. Just block them. Just block them. It's literally not even worth the effort, guys. Like, just absolutely childish crap, to be honest. And I don't know how old this woman is, but like, she's married. I feel I am concerned for that woman's husband. Like, I hope this is satire, but I'm concerned for that woman's husband. But guys, that is the end of the clips right there. We are going to be jumping into, what have I got pulled up? Yes, so I've got a dating profile that I'm going to be showing you guys, and then we'll be jumping into an article and possibly a Reddit story if we have time. Now, I don't know if I've shown you guys this one before, and this one isn't too much of a trigger warning here, okay? But check this crap out, okay? I don't know if I've shown this one before. We don't know this woman's age. I don't know what dating app this is. I have no idea what this is. Hinge, maybe. I don't know, but this is what she puts in her profile, okay? So, again, age is undisclosed. She says, I'm looking for friends right now. I'm 8 months pregnant, and things didn't work out with the dad. If you accidentally fall in love with me, I'll consider a date. This woman is literally having a child, and she's on a dating app looking for a dude because she can't even, like, the father's not around. And people will always blame this on the father, okay? Now, fair enough, there are dudes out there who, you know, dip on their kids, and obviously that's awful. But really, guys, it's like a lot of the times these women will kick the dudes out of the families or, you know, out of their lives, and then it amazes me how these girls will literally bring a life into the world and not even secure a father for it. What on earth? What on earth is this this society that we're living in right now, boys? I don't even know what to tell you. But guys, we're going to be jumping into today's article. Now, you may recognize this one from from last episode, okay? And this is titled, If He's Not Dating You Properly, Don't Date Him at All. So obviously this is just the frustration of middle-aged women, you know, of men not wanting to date them. But we actually only got up to point number 7, guys. And this article is just straight up content because it's women crying. You gotta see this, okay? Take a look, right? So number 7, we're just going to go down these points, guys. Like, it really is just content, okay? So take a listen to this. And again, this is what is this title again? One more time. This is If He's Not Dating You Properly, Don't Date Him at All, okay? Because obviously, guys, these girls are just sick and tired of not being dated properly, all right? So we as men, we got to step up, obviously. It's up to you to weed out the jerks and the weak, lazy guys before you get caught up in another disaster. As hard as it might seem at times, you do deserve to have someone who actually treats you with complete kindness and respect and is excited about dating you in a real way. So keep working towards that by dodging the jerk bullets as quickly as you can. Notice how in order to make a statement like this, by the way, you have to have dated men who, what's the quote down here, have not dated you in a real way. Right? It's always interesting how these girls, like, they'll expect to be treated like a princess. They'll be like, oh, you gotta wine and dine me, you gotta pay for everything. But you look at their dating history, and they were never dated in a real way. They were never treated with kindness and respect. Like, and what that really communicates, guys, is that these girls have no respect for themselves. Like, that's really what it communicates. It communicates a lack of boundaries among a whole host of other things. So let's check this one out. The right guy will make you feel excited every day. Yeah, that sounds healthy, right? When you meet the guy who truly knows how to date you properly, he'll make you feel excited about each and every day you get to spend with him, and you shouldn't accept anything less. Wowee. Life is short and real love is totally worth waiting for. You don't need to bide your time with mediocre bozos who are only out to satisfy their own agenda by lifting as few fingers as possible to get there. Now, right off the bat, guys, the idea that someone should make you excited every day is absolutely, it's a clown world thought, okay? You think that, like, people in marriages, successful marriages for like 10 plus years, you think that these individuals are excited every day? Like, what kind of goal is it? What kind of metric is it to be excited by your partner every day? I'm sure people in marriages for 10 plus years of age, 10 plus years, excuse me, they probably have days where they just don't want to talk to it, where they don't like each other. Right? Because relationships are not about feeling excited every day, guys. Like, oh yeah, I gotta feel excited or else he isn't the one every single day. Like, what kind of metric is that for a real, like, an authentic relationship? You guys see what I'm saying here? Literally, this is a metric that this woman uses to determine what is a good relationship. Him making you feel excited every day. I don't know, what if he has to go to work and do other things? Right? Like, oh, but he should just get home and take me out to a new dinner place every night and make it exciting and pay for the date. Why should he do that for you? What? First of all, that's a terrible metric. Second of all, why should he do that for you? Because you say so? Hell no. Let's continue. And notice how she says you shouldn't accept anything less. Wow, what a fantastic way to keep... See, this is why when girls give advice to other girls, a lot of the time, girls actually do themselves a disservice by listening to each other on this advice. They absolutely do. If you listen to something like this, if you were actually to put this into practice, you would be single for the remainder of your life, basically. Life is short and real love is totally worth waiting for. You don't need to bide your time with mediocre bozos, blah, blah, blah. How he dates you is how he will love you, so pay attention. The way a guy dates you early on sets the tone for how he will treat you for years to come. If he can't make the effort to communicate with you or to plan real dates that you do together, chances are he won't be raising the bar anytime soon. You get what you allow out of love, so if he's not making things even remotely romantic, he's probably not looking for anything serious and he's probably not the right guy for you. Tread carefully. Yeah, tread carefully as if it's like some sort of like a really difficult thing to avoid casual relationships and casual hookups, right? Like, oh, tread carefully. You've got to read the signs. I don't know. How about you just don't go over to his house at like 2 a.m. for watching a movie? Like, it's literally not rocket science, but these guys will be like, oh, babe, you know, tread carefully. You never know what his intentions are. It's like, okay, bro, I guess we're all just pretending to be clueless. Next one, point number 10. If he ignores your concerns, he's not worth your time. Some guys won't even take the time to hear you out respectfully when you tell them that you want and expect out of any relationship you get into, but it's not your job to teach him how to do something that should be common sense. If he doesn't even try to turn things around after you've told him straight up that you'd like to go on a real and proper dates or hear from him more often, stop wasting your breath. It's falling on deaf ears. You know, when girls say this, like, I wonder how many times, like, I'm thinking to myself right now, the individual who wrote this article, like, if we were to, you know, bring up a stat sheet of her previous relationships and how they worked out, it would be very interesting to see, like, what distribution that would look like, you know, how many casual relationships. If we could, guys, if we could get, like, a sheet, right? Can you imagine if you know, these girls walking around, they just have a sheet that appears above their head, you know, like an invisible one, right? And it just says all their statistics, like how many bodies they've got, how many relationships that they've had, how many relationships that they've ended, have they been divorced, did they have any kids? I think we would see some very terrifying statistics just walking down the street, guys, but maybe that's just me. Point number 11, you have better stuff to do than to date someone who's lazy. There are much better things you could be doing with your time than dating a guy that can't seem to figure it out and doesn't want to try. You don't need to hang out with someone who isn't making you feel special. You don't need to pick up a late night phone call just to get to FaceTime in with someone who you're supposed to be dating, and you don't need to stick around and accept less than you want. What an entitled attitude to have. You don't have to accept less than you want. Right? Like, I don't know how these people, like, ever get anything done. Right? Like, how are you supposed to ever get anything done if you're like, oh, I'm not going to accept what I don't want? Sometimes you're going to have to do things that you don't want to do. I don't know. That's just the way things work. That's certainly how it's appeared in my life, guys. I don't know. You guys let me know if I'm crazy in the comments, okay? But there are going to be things in life that you have to accept that you don't like. And that's fine. There are a lot of things that you can't change, okay? What is this mentality, man? You don't need to stick around and accept less than you want. Okay, bro. All right. Sometimes you have to accept some guys at face value. They're simply not the right one for you. You deserve someone who actually makes a real effort. So if he's not dating you properly... don't date him at all. It can be tough to know whether you're being unreasonable when it comes to your dating expectations. You don't want to ask for too much, but you also need to be careful that you're not expecting too little. There's nothing wrong with holding high standards in love. In fact, doing so will save you from a lot of heartbreak and disappointment down the line. Stay strong. You've got this. If you struggle to set high standards in love, oh my, no way. I just realized we are only halfway down the page. Okay, I tell you what, guys, we are saving this section for some more content because apparently the cesspit just continues to go on. So guys, let's continue into today's Reddit story. Wow, that's a fan. I'm going to save that site. That's got some content on it, doesn't it? All right, so let's jump into today's first Reddit story, and I'm not sure how many we'll get through. My recording program is kind of screwed up at the moment. I can't see how long I'm recording for, so I don't really have I can't see how long these episodes are going for right now. But let's jump into today's first Reddit story. And one of my editors sent this to me, and he thought it was pretty funny. So let's take a read. This says, grammatically incorrect, of course, it's over, exclamation mark, followed by a comma. Why does he keep doing this? Triple question mark. My boyfriend broke up with me again about a week ago. Capital in this. It was not the first time he did this, and if I don't stop this, it won't be the last. I love him very much. Space, comma, space. Don't get me wrong, but I just can't do this on again, off again thing anymore. I'm done, and I told him so. I told him not to contact me in any way because I don't want him to be in my life again. At past breakups, I always let the door open for him to come back. This time, I closed it with a bang, double exclamation mark. We have one biological daughter and one foster daughter together, so if I do speak about him, it's to them. If I do speak to him, it's about them or our finances. The girls, I think she means girls, were wrong where. She used where instead of where. Anyway, very mad at him for breaking up again, and they had a huge fight. After that, they ignored him for a whole day. Now he keeps on bugging me with the little things. If I ask him something for the girls or finances, he only does it when somebody else reminds him of it, and then he always does something extra to annoy me. I don't understand his behavior. I didn't break up with him, so why does he try to hurt me even more? Why can't he just leave me alone, and how do I handle this? I try to keep it cool and don't let him break me more than he already did, but it hurts the way it is. He doesn't have to rub it in extra. What do I do without hurting the girls, and why are the girls not his priority? Guys, I'm going to say this. I'm going to make it very clear. Okay, I don't care if you're a man. I don't care if you're a woman. Okay, if you get broken up with, that's the end of it. Right? None of these like half breakups or none of these going back to people, man. I will never understand people's willingness to go back to people who treat them like crap. Like I just do not understand. Okay, guys, if you're one of the 6 women watching this, or if you're one of the thousands of men watching this, do not go back to someone who breaks up with you. If someone attempts to break up with you, just consider it a breakup and break up with them. Okay, none of this like half crap or going back to people who treat you terribly. It's disgusting, because what you're essentially doing is you're communicating to the other person that you just want to be walked all over and you don't respect yourself. It demonstrates a lack of boundary, and unfortunately people will just walk over that given the opportunity. I wish it worked another way, guys, but it doesn't, so it is what it is. Don't go back to people who cheat on you. Don't go back to people who break up with you, okay? You'll save yourself a hell of a lot of time. But guys, let's continue into today's last Reddit story, and then we will wrap up today's episode. So let's take a read of this one. This one is titled Anxious Attachment and Boredom/Excitement. I have an anxious attachment style. I'm working on it, but one thing I really struggle with when dating is working out whether certain feelings are related to my attachment style or the person in question. For example, I met a guy recently that I'm really excited about, but how do I know if I'm excited about him because I like him, or if it's actually a red flag and the excitement I feel is in fact just my attachment style being triggered? Similarly, I broke things off with a man who is very nice, but I didn't feel held my interest enough. Was I bored because he was secure, or was I bored because our personalities and conversation styles didn't quite match up? How do I learn to tell the difference? Now, guys, there's actually I believe there's a book on different attachment styles that, to be honest, I really need to read. A lot of people have recommended it to me, so I think I really actually need to read that book. But what I will say about this, okay, is that this part right here is very concerning. I recently broke off things with a man who was very nice, but I didn't feel he held my interest enough. And guys, this plays back into the first TikTok that we saw at the beginning of the video, where men are essentially treated like these things that, it's our job to hold a girl's interests and to do everything for her, and if girls get bored, then they're going to move on to the next dude. And this is why a lot of men, right, they sit there and they think to themselves, why would I even bother getting a girlfriend? Why would I do all this dating, take her out on dates and do all this crap, when, to be honest, she's just looking to replace me anyway? I'm just going to have the casual fun, and I'm just going to kind of leave it there. It's very hard to argue with that. Guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments below, guys. That is what the comments box is for. Don't forget to come and join us over on Locals. The link is in the description. Totally free to join, guys. If you're interested in becoming a supporter, there is also an option for that. But otherwise, gentlemen, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace. Yo, what is going on, guys? Past Taylor here. Just want to say thank you if you made it to the end of today's video. Before you head out, there's just a few announcements that I'd like to make. The first is that my editor, who goes through all of the blood, sweat, and tears of putting together these videos for us to endure, has started his own YouTube channel. I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the video description below, so make sure that you go and show him some support by going and giving him a sub. Also, at the very bottom of the video descriptions, there is a link for those of you who are interested in becoming an editor. I'm not sure how long I'm going to leave these applications open for, but if you're interested in working with me behind the scenes, there will be a link at the very bottom of the video description. Lastly, guys, as always, don't forget to come and join us over on Locals. You guys might have noticed that a lot of YouTube content creators are kind of branching off to different platforms, and that's because we really don't know what we're allowed to say or do, and a lot of us don't really know how long we will be around for. So guys, make sure that you come and join us over on Locals. It's totally free to join. There's a support option if you're interested. There's also exclusive content and stuff like that over there, but it's totally free if you're just wanting to go and join, guys. The link is in the description, so make sure that you come and join us. But as always, guys, make sure you're taking care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.